Hello everyone and welcome back. I am as always Inquisitor Ara and this is Advanced Role-Playing Techniques, and this week we're going to be taking a look at one of the half-breed races, specifically half-breeds, orcs, and Draenei. Please note that these are just the generally accepted guidelines to socially acceptable and lore-friendly roleplay in World of Warcraft. There is a niche for every type and style of roleplay out there, and what I am telling you here are the generally accepted guidelines that will not get you ridiculed, laughed at, picked on, ignored, or shunned. It can be very difficult to pull off a half-breed role-playing background story. As such, most people try to avoid it. There's just no way to tell how other RPers are going to react to openly half-breed characters. Some won't care, preferring quality role-playing over lore friendliness. Some will, citing the importance of being lore-abiding. In either case, half-breeds are often a controversial subject, as such a thing rarely happens outside of half-elves, a blending of high elves and humans, and equally rarely happens as a result of happy circumstances. This video will focus on the half-breed offsprings of orcs and Draenei. I will do a separate video on the Mock Nathal, half-breed orcs and ogres like Rexar. To date, there are only 2 orc and Draenei half-breeds that have survived to adulthood, Lantresser of the Blade and Garona Half-Orcan. And when I say survived to adulthood, I mean weren't killed in their infancy for being abominations. Because the fact of the matter was that the face of most half-breeds born on Draenor was to die. It is not a matter of dislike. Many orcs and Draenei, but not all, were at least tolerant of each other. But there were significant cultural differences between the orcish clans in Draenic society, many of which would have frowned on a pairing between the two. Now, this is not to say that it could not have happened, but it was extremely unlikely. If such a thing were to happen, both the orc parent and the Draenic parent were likely to have been exiled from their respective homes, and any children they might have had would have grown up in isolation and relatively unsocialized. So, almost as a rule, there should be very few half-orcs and half-Draenei, especially now that they are on opposite sides of the fence. Another important thing to note is that as of now, there do not appear to be any set traits passed on from either parent except for one. Both Lantresser and Garona physically appear to be more orcish. Despite their Draenic heritage, both of the known orc Draenei half-breeds appear, at least anatomically, to lean more towards the physiology of their orcish parent. Neither had the facial protrusions, tails, or digigrade legs that commonly mark a Draenei. That being said, both do possess some Draenic features. Both Lantresser and Garona have blank, glowing eyes. Lantresser's skin is a uniform gray, and Garona's is green, but boasts bright blue bands around her upper arms. To this end, if you do choose to RP a half-breed of this type, you almost have no choice. You must choose the orc model. You could use the Draenei model, but as there is no precedence for half-breeds more closely resembling their Draenei parent, it might be a little harder to pull off. If you are role-playing a half-orc, half-Draenei on the Horde side, especially amongst the orcish horde, half-breeds are shunned. Orcs as a whole despise half-breeds. Even the slightly more acceptable Mock Nathal are not immune to this, viewing them as weak, their blood watered down. Rarely are they given the same opportunities that full-blooded orcish adults are given. Not all orc players are thusly prejudiced, but there will be some. This is a guarantee, and you should be prepared to deal with it. Remember, it's not a personal attack on you or how you RP, it is an in-character reaction to your character. If you are trying to roleplay a half-orc, half-Draenei on the Alliance side, it's not likely going to be any easier, as almost every Alliance race has a reason to hate the orcs. While the half-elves are slightly more accepted here, you are still going to find yourself shunned. Remember, if you're RPing a half-orc, half-Draenei, you grew up isolated. And remember that half-Orc, half-Draenei, half-Breed suffer many of the same prejudices as the half-elves do. Just by existing, half-breeds almost create a cultural space outside of both their parent races. And because they are half-breeds, they are widely not accepted in either Orcish or Draenic society. RPing a half-Orc, half-Draenei can be difficult to do, given that in most Warcraft cultures they are considered taboo. However, that should not stop you from trying if that's what you want to do. Make your story as engaging as possible. Remember that not all players are going to RP with you. Some might cite lore reasons and be out of character. Some RP folks who just don't like half-breeds. This is a difficult sort of character to pull off and enjoy, but don't let it stop you. RP is for fun, and if you're having fun, then that's all that matters. Well, that is going to be it from me for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. I also have a Patreon. The link is in the description box below, as well as up in my channel header art. So if you want to help me improve my video quality, make sure you stop on by and donate. Remember, your donations go directly to things to improve the quality of my videos and may lead to more videos per week. Anyways, guys, thank you again so much for watching. Have a great week, have a great weekend, and I will see you again in Azeroth.